Hey guys, it's sort of dying down, and we've appreciate everybody has come out. We're going to do story time. These guys had great times at Georgia, and they're going to tell stories. Some maybe NFL, maybe college, but I'm going to let them do their thing. And if you don't like language, if they do the language, please don't get upset. This is live because it's going straight to YouTube. And you got to be old enough, got to at least be 18 to get on YouTube now on our site. So anyway, you'll have to ask your parents if you're allowed to watch it. So guys, come on, Julie. Thad Parker.
I can think of a story, and I'll go here. I'll tell you the difference between when I was in school back in the day, between 96 and 2000, as opposed to now with NIL. Back then, as a freshman, I was a redshirt freshman back in the day. When the team used to have to go off, myself and other players, we were so broke, we used to have to break in the lunchroom.
Ooh.
While everybody was gone to get food because we didn't have food or nothing for us to eat over the weekend because the whole team and everybody was gone. Now times with NIL, I'm sure ain't nobody breaking in lunch to get meals, but that's the difference between when I was in school in the early mid-90s to early 2000s. So just a short story, nothing too incriminating, but it's just a difference in how it was when I was in school to the way things are now.
Awesome. Guys, things like this, they tell stories, and y'all are missing out. They've been telling stories. I finally got them to tell story time, and we've been enjoying talking to them. And have you got ready for a story?
For me?
Yes, sir.
Put me on the spot?
I'm going to put you on the spot, or you can hand it down. We got a mic here.
Go ahead and get mine out of the way.
Okay.
So, this is my story is kind of about, how we know Dog Nation is, and we've got some great fans. But this is going back to around Thad's time. I can remember when we first beat Tennessee at home, and that kind of started a little streak for us. And the fans rushed the field. It had to be 2 or 3 minutes left still in the game, fourth quarter. Everybody piling and jumping over the hedges and whatnot. So they stormed the field when the clock went 0, breaking down the goalposts. And I'm probably a redshirt freshman then, so I'm in the middle of it. Nowadays I probably just sprinted to the locker room, so I'm in the middle of it. And I can remember losing my helmet, retrieving it. Now I'm looking for my mouthpiece, and all of a sudden I see a fan got my mouthpiece in his mouth. And he's like, "Go down!" Oh, God. And I was like, "You know what? You got it. You got
it. You got this."
Well, I guess the story that a lot of people would like to hear is a story about the SEC championship and the block kick. So John Fabris was a special teams coach, and he pretty much had the special teams unit practicing that block kick every single day throughout the year leading up to the SEC championship game. So he had this pretty much in the back of his mind from 2 days that this was actually going to happen. So I'll be, practicing, running, blocking kicks, and in my mind, I'm like, what are we doing this for? This is ridiculous. So it pretty much became like clockwork and second nature. So by the time the game actually came, I was just kind of really going through the motions. So I didn't even get excited about it after the game. But, that's a memorable play that a lot of people remember.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Every coach, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that time coming.
It's coming.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to talk about a memory that stuck out to me, and it was actually from one of our practices. And so we were the same game that the guy had your mouthpiece in his mouth after the game. Tennessee, that year, Coach Dunning was adamant about us winning this game. And that was probably one of the hardest weeks of practice we had, period. And so, we would hit, I think, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And so after Wednesday's practice, at the end of it, Coach Dunning was nowhere to be found. And of course, we were finished practicing. We done been out there banging.
And all of a sudden, the gate opens up to the practice facility. And all of a sudden, we see Coach Dunning driving into practice in this huge steamroller. And so he's yelling. And anybody who knows Coach Dunning's voice knows it's extremely unique. Hey, men, we're going to steamroll their ass on 3. Hey, and this literally looked like a Destructicon steamroller. It was huge. He rolls into practice. He's up there driving and rolls into practice. The whole team is looking like, this man crazy.
And like,
This man is crazy. And literally, though, we went out there. That was the first time we had ended up beating Tennessee. That was the first time we had beat them, since I had actually enrolled in school. And that night was electric. They tore down the goalpost, took the goalpost downtown. But literally, all I remember, the most memorable thing for me was him rolling into practice on a 20 times the size of a regular, like a concrete or cement roller. It was huge. Saying, we're gonna steamroll their ass on 3 men, and it happened. Coach D, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
In the studio, speakers Tennessee music all week long.
Oh wow.
They make you hate Rocky Top.
Rocky Top. Oh man, Rocky Top is the worst song I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from there. I'm from right outside of Southfield. Live in Alco, Tennessee, born and raised.
Cool.
But go Dogs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go Dogs. Man, University of Georgia. Like I said, I'm in Tennessee's backyard, and but like we spoke on earlier, Herschel Walker was early '80s when he played at Georgia, and I was a 10-year-old kid watching him play, and I didn't know I was going to play college football at that time, of course, but 10 years, fast forward 10 years later, I'm at the University of Georgia as a freshman. I was telling these guys this story earlier, part of this story earlier. I'm going to elaborate on it. So we're playing LSU, my first college game ever, LSU at night. And you're at LSU at night. I don't know if any of you guys played LSU at night.
Sir.
So LSU at night, they got all day to get liquored up. All day long to get liquored up.
And they do.
So here I am, an 18-year-old kid out of a small town, out of high school, coming from a small town. I don't know what to look for. I don't know what to expect. I'm already wide-eyed because we flew down to Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and probably my second time on a flight ever. My first time was my recruiting visit, so my second time on a flight ever, going down to Baton Rouge. So me and my roommate, a guy named Colin Brandon, we were 2 freshmen that got to travel. So he's my roommate. So like I said, they don't tell us what to expect. So we in the lobby, and Colin says, man, they got these video games over there, dog. And so I said, for real? I said, let's go play some video games. So we over there playing the video games. Coach Golf looking around the corners, and he comes back, he's like, y'all what y'all doing? He's like, we're playing video games. He said, we're not here to play video games. We're here to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first thing. So I'm in my room, so I'm already nervous. So we get to the game. A guy named Chris Broom was a starter, and they just all week long they said, you be ready. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna be ready. I ain't gonna see the field. I ain't gonna see the field. Man, they called my number, and I hit the field, and all my friends was like, man, you gonna get in trouble. You gonna get in trouble, because I was the first freshman to see the field. Oh, wow. I was the first freshman to see the field, and I was like, man, I couldn't believe it. Like I said, me from being from a small town, me coming to University of Georgia, actually being the first freshman in that class. Cause I tell you, these guys, we were a highly recruited class. I wasn't one of the highly recruited players, but I was in that class. So that was a good memory for me.
Welcome to the SEC.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the SEC.
LSU at night.
And you're right, that LSU at night is something different.
I got a question. I'm gonna pose a question. Okay. So besides Sanford Stadium, which is the best stadium around, what's the best place besides that you played at? I'll start with piggyback and Shannon. LSU. I mean, that's one of the loudest places that I played. And the funny story about LSU, it was the second SEC championship game or championship year, and it's loud. It's probably a 3-0 game the whole time. Like neither offense could do anything. So I think they kicked the field goal and scored, and we go line up, and we look up, and our kickoff return men are lined up behind their kickoff team on the wrong side of the field. Like that's how loud and how crazy it was. So the refs had to stop the game and get our guys to run to the other side to get lined up to be on the right side of the field. So that was in itself was just a funny moment that I was like, wow, it was a crazy environment.
I'll say pretty much the same thing. LSU was probably the craziest place that I can remember and the loudest place that I can remember being in, besides Tennessee Stadium.
Naylor goes back and forth. I don't know if y'all realize it's quiet before the game, and once the game starts, you're really yelling Rocky Top from the top to the bottom. The stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those two.
It seems like it's. I ain't saying it actually does, but it shifts back and forth.
Yep, those two places were pretty much tops for me in the SEC as far as playing. But you know, being out there playing, you just kind of focused on what you're supposed to be doing. But it's still kind of it's really hard to ignore when you got a million LSU fans in the stadium, like going crazy, and they've started their night at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. If it was that late, right? So, I mean, I can't deny what these guys are saying, man. I'm gonna have to go ahead and just jump right back on the back of LSU being the wildest, most rowdiest location I've ever been to in my life, and I go back to '98. So, you know, I wasn't playing at the time. You know, we had some high profile tight ends on the squad, but I was traveling, and from Anderson, Alabama. So, it's in small city, big metropolis. If y'all look it up, you know what I mean. And my flights that I took. Those seasons were the first time I had been on a plane too. But we get to LSU and, we leave in the hotel and, of course, I'm pumped up anyway. I used to go hard in warm-ups. I used to work up me a sweat in warm-ups, you know what I'm saying, just to make myself feel part of the team and part of the game. And we're actually driving into the stadium. And at that point, I knew that the SEC and SEC football was completely different because you see the fans a little bit at University of Georgia when you go to another school to play them. Nothing compared to what I saw on the way into that stadium. I literally have never seen so much naked butt in my life. Because we got mooned from the time we touched campus. And I mean old naked butt. I mean it was lined up. Literally from the time we touched campus to the time we got to that stadium, people giving us the clearest view of what God gave us. And when we got off the bus, it was like the team looked around each other. That was actually Quincy Carter's freshman year when he went out to LSU and tore them up that game.
Yes, sir.
But when you touch that field, you talk about how kneeling kind of moves.
Yes.
I have never seen this in another stadium. You know how if you have like an extremely hot day, how the heat wave comes off of the concrete? Their fans make so much noise, it shakes the air. So you can see that across their field.
My eyes are doing
you can actually see that. And I have never been in an environment like that as a human being. Period. That was the only time I've experienced that in my life. And you add in the live roar of that tiger. It was a special place. That place probably gets, the tip of the cap to me as being probably one of the most special places in college football. That's on me.
That's on me.
Wow. I'll probably have to piggyback off of what these guys said. I would probably say, for me, Tennessee, because I think they probably generally hold the most in the SEC. So they're naturally loud. LSU, also another great loud place to play. I don't know, somebody they stadium, they might need to upgrade their infrastructure because I don't know if it just be rocking like that because you can literally see. But I'm gonna go in a little bit different direction. For me, I don't know if it was the acoustics. I don't know if it's just maybe the proximity of the stands. But the University of Auburn,
Oh,
That was the loudest place for me to play it. I mean, it was almost like literally you could do like this and high five.
Yeah, they
One,
right,
yeah,
right,
they
right,
right there
right,
on
right,
you.
right.
So for me, that was probably the loudest environment that I had to play in. But like these other guys said, Tennessee and LSU are definitely some rough places to go. But just to kind of step outside the box, I'm gonna go with Auburn.
Auburn. That's awesome.
Was any of you guys play at Oxford? Ole Miss.
Yes.
Mhm. Yep.
And they're right on top of you at Oxford too. Fans were in Oxford.
They were renovating.
They was renovating.
Okay. So what about Jacksonville? What's y'all take on Jacksonville?
I think it's cool, but it's just 50-50.
Right.
So it's hot,
Right.
whether you doing well, or
Right.
cold, whether you're doing bad.
But you got to play the home and home. Did you not? Yeah.
Huh?
Somebody
our
played.
freshman year. No, our freshman year was the last year Florida came. They beat us.
They beat us down. Okay.
It was like 50.
I remember. Okay, I didn't play then. I was a
Okay.
freshman.
Yeah. They played home and home in the late '90s.
Yeah,
Okay.
they stopped. That was, our freshman year was the last year they did.
Because they were doing something to the Jacksonville.
Probably brought the professional team in.
But they just about
Probably-
right.
probably
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, Jacksonville is 50-50. I mean, it's to me, I didn't understand as a freshman how special that game was. Georgia, Florida.
Mhm.
You know, but my senior year, I was like,
It's on.
it's on. So we going out for warm ups. It's a nice, bright, sunny day, Georgia, Florida, and we're going out for warm ups. We're out there warming up. So, and back then, you don't have 2 and 3, 4 pair of cleats you can take to a game. Whatever cleats you have, them the cleats you're gonna play in. You know, so I got right. Don't ask David Charlie for nothing. You're not getting exactly. So I got the molded bottoms on. So we out there warming up. We go back in the locker room. We had this manager's call. Huh?
Yeah, screw.
We had them, but I didn't wear them. I wore molded bottoms at the time. And so Charlie, Dave, they wasn't giving out nothing. So we had this manager called Arthur Johnson. Y'all know Arthur.
No,
Arthur Johnson was the manager. He comes in the locker room. He's soaking wet, from top to bottom. I said, man, who threw water on you? He said, nobody, man. The skies have opened up. He said, nobody. The skies have opened. Floodgates. This is 93. Played Georgia, Florida, 93. Floodgate. It was rain just pouring, gushing. I said, well, I got to have some screw in. Like I said, go to So, man, my guy, Carlo Butler, played outside linebacker. He wore size 12. I wore size 13. He had a pair of screw ins.
No.
CeeLo let me borrow his screw ins. I'll go out. Like I told you, just monsoon. Go out. Set the Georgia single game receiving record, 15 catches in the monsoon.
You wore a size small cleats all year.
You wear them all year?
We played in October. I actually had them cleats put up, and I still got them.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
still got them to this day. CeeLo, appreciate you, bro.
You got some more?
I got another cool memory too.
Okay.
All right.
I might be in the only position. I got being from Athens, I got a pretty unique opportunity. I played football for the local YMCA a couple of years. And I don't know if you guys remember, maybe you, Shannon, but our big trip was on Saturday mornings. We could play football before the Georgia games. So as the teams are coming, we got a live game going on. Like, that's our championship game.
Right.
So I can remember being out there. Georgia was playing Auburn. Damien Craig was the quarterback. I remember, him being there. And I can just remember I'm probably 5th or 6th grade, and I'm like I'm one of the players. I was gifted, but I was trying to do more than just that. Like, it was, I started to see guys noticing, like, man, this little dude, he going crazy. So that just had me I'm ready to go now. So I'll never forget that. And at the time, I had no idea that I was going to be able to play in Sanford Stadium for real. But I'll never forget that feeling as a little kid to be like, man, I wish I could just do this for real one day. And for it to happen, it was just, it'll always be a cool memory for me.
It's awesome. I got something for you guys. I want to know what was the loudest you ever heard Stanford Stadium.
When we played Tennessee this past year.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about for you guys.
I don't.
I say as a fan. So my sophomore year, my freshman year at Georgia, we go down to Clemson, And everybody know Howard Rock at Clemson. We go down there, and I can remember it was two walk-ons got to travel with us. I can't remember the guy's name, but I can just remember it vividly. They're standing at the bottom of Howard's Rock. This is my freshman year, and they're calling Clemson to come down. Man, we wore our ass with them. Clemson beat us pretty good.
Oh Lord,
we beat us pretty good. Matter of fact, we had a guy named linebacker named D-Train. D-Train, I can't remember D-Train.
good name.
D-Train was a linebacker, and they had him on the poster where they were stepping on him.
Ooh.
They had him on their schedule came out. I saw more the next year their schedule came out, and then that's the guy stepping on him on their poster. So that's bulletin board material.
Oh yeah,
that's bulletin board material.
Yep.
Y'all see this is common ground now. The first night game in Athens was in 1991.
Wow.
We played the first night game in Athens.
Wow. Oh man, that's awesome.
Well, the first of this generation. I guess I'm the start of this whole new generation. We played Clemson at night. You talking about Clemson in that stadium at night on national TV in front of, because like I said, the year before Georgia wasn't too good. We were winning then. We started winning. And so that's the loudest.
That's awesome.
That's the loudest I've seen Central State at night, 91 against Clemson.
I'm going to probably say this right here, and it's going to be a first as well, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. As I get older, my memory, things tend to run together.
Hey, it don't
What I want to say is that Auburn game when we had the 4 overtimes.
Was that
that was the Samford State? That was
a Stanford.
Yeah, that was the first. That's when Corey caught the touchdown in the corner of the end zone.
No, that was down in Auburn.
You sure?
Yes, I was there.
Okay, I thought
that was freshman year.
I thought that was Sanford Stadium.
That was down. That was at the Plains.
Okay.
And Robert was running back.
Yeah, Bobo.
Yeah,
Bobo.
That was on the Plains. Okay.
I thought it was Sanford Stadium.
I know it vividly because I was there in the
Okay.
And I thought I was standing on the sideline.
He started this whole conversation. Check my memory.
Right, because I'm thinking I'm standing on the sideline watching this, but I didn't realize it was at Auburn. I thought it was at Sanford Stadium. So I digress.
I ain't mean to bust your bubble. I ain't want you to put that out. Loudest I've ever heard Sanford Stadium. I would probably say it was that Tennessee game when we finally exercised those demons and beat them that night because our fans literally took our goalposts downtown Athens and was sitting on top of them having a few brews. Wow. Yeah, that was the loudest I've ever heard the stadium. I mean, as a player, but to DG's point, that stadium last year when we played Tennessee was phenomenal. I think that actually was the record decibel level that the stadium had ever achieved. So.
Yeah, they were actually recruits that actually said they were trying to talk to their buddies and they were hand signaling because they could not talk.
Yeah, I believe
that's loud.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. I believe it.
But
anybody else?
Anybody else? We can take a break. We got people coming in, but y'all want to do it later on?
We'll see what we can come up with.
Okay. We have to think on it a little bit.
Guys, y'all are missing a lot of stories. I actually got them and I was so excited. We finally got them to do story time. They've been doing story time since we've been here. I just didn't get time to get around here to do it. So anyway, we're going to get off of here. They're going to think of more stories. And hey, guys, they're going to be here probably a little bit more. But y'all need to come on out and show some love. Go Dogs! Come out here and show some love.
Go Dogs.